Hi, my name is Chloe Atala, and I'm going to be performing a piece from The Black Eyed, as well as a piece from An Ideal Husband. Thank you. I'm afraid to fly. So much of my life is lived in the space between. I'm afraid that if my plane were to go down, that there would be one thing that I truly regret. That leads me to the next fantasy I have. As I'm settling in my seat on the plane, I look for my seatbelt, and as I finally am putting the strap to my seatbelt on, I somehow realize that the plane is going to crash and that I'm going to die a virgin. So I stomp up to the cockpit and I get on the loudspeaker and I say, "Unfasten your seatbelts, motherfuckers! If this plane's going down, someone's going down on me!" But one rarely has the guts to act out fantasies. I probably wouldn't go up to the cockpit and say that. I would probably just sit in my seat. Like I sat in my seat in disbelief when I actually did hear those men shouting in my mother's tongue. And it was not fantasy. It was real life. It was awful. I knew what they were saying, and I knew what they were doing before anyone else did. And as they passed my row, I couldn't help but think, what kind of person does that type of thing? One of the men that passed my row was chubby, like my brothers. Stupid me, always thinking inappropriate thoughts. Thoughts that make me thank heavens that I am so inarticulate. But as he was tying up the stewardess, I thought, I like chubby men. I don't trust men if they're too thin. So, as he was passing my row again, our eyes met, and he froze. The way Arabs outside the Arab world do when they realize someone here is one of my kind. He waited for me to speak. And when I couldn't, he went on his way. I could tell by the look in his eyes that none of us were going to live. So, I took out my sketchbook, and I sketched for the first time, without fear. I did my work. And it was good. I might have been able to stop him before he did what he did, if I had the right words. But what is the use of being articulate if no one can hear anything that they aren't ready to hear?
Well, Tommy has proposed to me. Again! Tommy really does nothing but propose to me. He proposed to me last night in the music room while I was quite unprotected, as there was an elaborate trio going on. I dared not make the smallest repartee, I need hardly tell you. If I had, it would have stopped the music entirely. Musical people are so absurdly unreasonable. They always want one to be perfectly dumb in the moment that they are longing to be absolutely deaf. Then he proposed to me again this morning in front of that dreaded statue of Achilles. Really, the things that go on in front of that work of art are quite appalling. The police should interfere. Then, at luncheon, I could tell by the glare in his eye that he was going to propose again. And I managed to check him just in time by assuring him that I was a bimentalist. Fortunately, I don't know what bimentalism means, and I don't think anybody else does either, but the observation seemed to crush Tommy for 10 minutes. He looked quite shocked. And then Tommy is so annoying in the way that he proposes. If he should propose at the top of his voice, I should not mind so much. That should produce some effect on the public. But he does it in this horrid, confidential way. When Tommy wants to be romantic, he speaks to one as if he were a doctor.
Oh. I am very fond of Tommy,
but his methods of proposal are quite out of date. I wish, Gertrude, that you would speak to him and let him know that once a week is quite often enough to propose to anyone, and that it should always be done in a manner that attracts some attention.